went to go see Sonic the Hedgehog 3 a couple weeks ago, right? And it was a pretty great time. I laughed, I almost cried. There were moments where I even got chills. It was leagues above the previous 2 entries in the franchise, but unfortunately, I don't think it quite deserves the title of definitive video game movie that a lot of people have been throwing around lately. Now don't get me wrong, there are things it did far better than any other big screen adaptation of a video game we've seen yet, but in my opinion, there are still a few things holding it back. But not anymore. I went back in and, based entirely on my own unprofessional opinion, rewrote everything I would have done differently. New scenes, new story beats, even new Easter eggs. Here's how this video is gonna work. I'll fast forward through the parts of the movie that are left mostly unchanged, and then deliver the newer altered scenes when they come up in the story. Without further ado, I present the Lemon Cake Studios cut of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Rockwell recruits Tom and Maddie to go along as well. Tails is suspicious, but the others don't give it a second thought. After Team Sonic recovers from their defeat, they're met by Director Rockwell, who has troops at the ready. She puts them under arrest for allegedly helping Shadow escape. They manage to get away, but Tom and Maddie are taken captive in the process. They regroup in secret at the Chow Garden. Tails receives a secret message from Commander Walters, warning them about Rockwell's betrayal. Rockwell thinks all free aliens are dangerous to the world and convinces Gunn to approve her plan and have Walters fired for sympathizing with them. He tells them more about Shadow's past and that he must be stopped by any means necessary. Tails hacks into Gunn's database to see if there's anything else useful. He finds a file about the Death Egg robot wreckage, stating that Robotnik's body was never found, and also figures out that a Robotnik signal broke Shadow out of Prison Island in the first place. Believing that Robotnik can help lead them to Shadow, Team Sonic sets off to track him down. Rockwell takes Tom and Maddie back to the Ark, and then comes up with a new plan to capture Shadow and Team Sonic. She wants to give them Tom and Maddie in exchange for the Master Emerald. Team Sonic goes to Agent Stone's old coffee shop, waiting for him to come and collect a new shipment of off-screen goat's milk. He eventually arrives and agrees to take them to Robotnik to prove he and the Doctor had nothing to do with Shadow's escape. He takes them aboard the crab, they question Robotnik, and quickly realize Stone was telling the truth. However, now Robotnik wants to find who's impersonating him. They make a tentative alliance and set out to find Shadow. Team Sonic receives a call from Director Rockwell proposing her trade. They quickly agree and hang up, formulating a plan, because they obviously can't hand over the Master Emerald. In order to both stop Team Shadow and save Tom and Maddie, they'll go to the Ark. Sonic will distract the gun troops and lead them away from the building so Tails and Knuckles can sneak in. Tails will free Tom and Maddie, and Knuckles will wait to intercept Team Shadow on their way to the control room. Knuckles makes Sonic promise to not get distracted with the gun troops and head back to the Ark as soon as he can, because he knows they can only stop Shadow if the 3 of them face him together. With that, they head off to the Ark, located in San Francisco, USA. Team Sonic arrives and carries out their plan. Sonic runs up to the building and tells Rockwell that they actually decided not to trade the Master Emerald for Tom and Maddie. She's obviously angry that her plan didn't work, but tries to make up for her losses by ordering gun troops to capture Sonic. While they're chasing him, Tails and Knuckles sneak inside just as planned. Sonic takes to the streets of San Francisco, a giant gun semi-truck following behind him. You can probably guess what song is accompanying them. Tails and Knuckles head off to tackle their respective missions. Tails, Tom, and Maddie join Knuckles in the control room, facing off against the Robotniks. Knuckles has the key to launch the Eclipse Cannon safe in his hand. Seeing that they have no chance on their own, Gerald calls in Shadow. He teleports in, blowing away the walls in the process, and knocks the key out of Knuckles' hand. Tom manages to catch it though, but now Shadow is approaching him. Sonic, having gotten distracted toying with the gun troops, looks into the horizon and sees Tom and Shadow approaching the edge of the Ark. In a panic, he hurries over with one thing on his mind. He has to save Tom. Shadow eventually knocks Tom off the building, grabbing the key out of his hand. Sonic manages to catch him just before he hits the ground, but Tom is banged up in their violent fall. Sonic is now angry at Shadow, who after looking down at Sonic and Tom, has a flashback to the night Maria died. Team Sonic hurries to Tom, and Team Shadow launches the Eclipse Cannon. Sonic, wanting revenge against Shadow, demands the Master Emerald from Knuckles. Knuckles says no for Sonic's own good, and the two fight. After some back and forth, Sonic says he doesn't need his friend's help. With that comment, Knuckles gives up on Sonic, telling him where the Master Emerald is. Heed my final warning, Hedgehog. Revenge doesn't change the past. Vengeance doesn't right wrongs. Don't make any decisions you'll regret. But Sonic doesn't listen. He goes super and takes off, abandoning his team. When Gerald tells Ivo that he doesn't actually need him, Ivo is devastated. He's taken to the Eclipse Cannon prison, but doesn't even resist. He just sits there and waits for the end of the world. The Hedgehogs take another look at the beautiful stars above them, letting their newfound realizations fully sink in. With their conflicts resolved, they turn towards the Eclipse Cannon. Sonic says, all this character building is great and all, but we do still have a cataclysmic world-ending death ray to stop. Shadow steps forward and declares resolutely, this is all my fault. My anger and hatred created this disaster, and now innocent people are in danger. I need to accept responsibility for my actions. I have to go it alone. Sonic puts a hand on his shoulder and replies, we both messed up, Shadow. But if there's one thing I've learned from all this, nobody has to go it alone. And anyway, you know what they say. Live and learn. Back on Earth, Tails sees that Sonic hasn't stopped the Eclipse Cannon yet, and realizes he needs their help. Knuckles refuses at first, still angry with Sonic, but Tails eventually convinces him it's their job as his teammates. They use a ring to board, and after exploring for a little while, come across Robotnik in his cell. He asks why they came back to help Sonic even after he betrayed them, and they tell him that that's what friends do. This prompts Robotnik to remember all that Agent Stone has done for Mobile, and realizes he does have someone to live for. He tells Tails and Knuckles how to shut down the reactor in exchange for them freeing him so he can go stop his grandfather once and for all. Back in Green Hills, the Wachowskis are paid a visit by Commander Walters, who's been reinstated as the head of Gun. Rockwell's been arrested by the US government for her plot to use the Master Emerald for Gun's own purposes, and everything is back to normal. Walters looks up at the remnants of the Eclipse Cannon's explosion and whispers an apology to Shadow, thanking him for standing up for what's right, even after all the times Walters himself didn't. We end our story just as it began, with the three heroes racing off into the horizon, but now, having learned the power of forgiveness, rediscovered the love of those they've lost, and realized their ultimate strength together as a team. For all of you who made it to the end, thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Comment down below what your own ideal version of Sonic 3 would have looked like, but before you make any critiques to my version of the script, I recommend you check the description and read the full version of the story, because any potential plot holes or character building that was missing from this version is most likely going to be found down there. I cut out a lot of the finer details because I didn't want this video to run for longer than it had to, and to just give you guys the short version of what I had in mind for specific changes. At the end of the day, I want to give a huge shout out to everyone involved in the actual Sonic the Hedgehog 3. By no means do I want to undermine all the work they put into making this film a reality. Writing this video has really given me a deeper appreciation for all the work that goes into pre-production on a movie like this, as well as helped me better understand decisions made by the writers that originally I had questioned. Congratulations, Paramount, for not only the box office success, but also for making a legitimately good movie. And Sega, keep being the company you are. The coolest thing to me that in promoting both this film and recent mainline Sonic games, Sega has actually recruited YouTubers to make videos for them. Terminal Montage is Something About Shadow the Hedgehog and Cybershell's Fang 101 are two examples of this incredibly cool practice. We all know the heartwarming story of Sonic Mania at this point, but did you guys know that one of the people involved there actually ended up working on Sonic 3 as well? Just the thought that something like that could happen to me, a huge fan of this franchise working directly with it, is beyond amazing. Never change, Sega. Never change. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. As always, I'm Lemon Cake Studios, and I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless y'all.